Day 5 of the Crochet Games is all about speed. Our crochet competitor is competing in the 50-gram race. What will she make?
Stay tuned to find out.
There's a project I want to make out of solid granny squares, and I want to make it with a dark navy blue, a lighter blue and white, possibly grey, but at the moment it's white. But I'm going to need a decent number of squares, and I only have 4 50-gram skeins of the dark blue yarn that I'm planning to use. So today I want to find out how many squares I can crochet from one of those skeins. So first of all, let's do the weigh-in. Very important, got to do the weigh-in. That one's 47, 48, 37, oh, must have used a bit of that already, and 44. Well, none of those were 50. Where do I send my complaint letter? Just for reference, we here at the Crochet Games do not accept complaint letters. But I think this one had the most. That was 47. Yeah, so we'll go with this one. Now I want to see how many squares I can get out of this, because for both the lighter blue and either the white or grey, it doesn't matter which one I go with, but I have a lot more skeins of those than I do of these, so that it doesn't matter so much. I will be able to make enough squares with those. It's this dark blue I'm a bit concerned about. Next question is, what size hook do I use? I might try a 5 to begin with, but I could go down to a 4. I could drop it down to a 4, but we'll start with the 5. Now I've got to see if I remember how to do this, because the pattern I am using is one I did for my 100 days of granny squares challenge that I was never able to finish. Helps if you press record. And I've got to make sure I only do 4 clusters of these double crochet, because I've been making a lot of granny hexagon cardigans, and obviously those start off with 6. And if I zone out, I think my muscle memory will take over and I'll accidentally do 6. I need to undo my work. I like to leave a longer yarn tail to begin with when I start with a magic circle, so that way I can weave it in and secure it later, so my granny square or hexagon does not unravel from the center. And I forgot to do that in this case. It's good that she caught that mistake early.
No doubt the judges would have taken points for that.
I've done 3 rounds so far, and I might do 1, possibly 2 more. I don't want these squares to be huge. I sort of want them in the Goldilocks zone. I don't want them too small. I don't want them too big. They just got to be that perfect mid-size. So I'll give it another round, then we can check it out and see what I think. And then I may potentially add another one. And you know what? I think 4 rounds is a good size. I don't think I want to do 1 more. I reckon that will be good. So I'm going to finish up. I'm going to finish up there. Well, now we know that I can get at least 1 granny square from these skeins. Surprise, surprise. I could do the smart thing at this point and weigh this single square, see how much it comes to, and then work out roughly how many granny squares I could make from 1 skein. But you know what? I'd rather it be a surprise. She deliberately chose not to go with the smart option. That's an unusual strategy.
Stupid. The word is stupid.
I will continue making granny squares using this same skein of yarn, so I'm going to put you over there so it doesn't get confused with the other ones. But I'm going to leave it as a surprise, see how many I can get from the one skein, and then once I know that, I can estimate how many I'll get from all 4, though I need to take into consideration that one of those skeins was partially used. What was it? It came to like 37 grams or something. But I can get a rough estimate anyway. And then once I know how many dark blue squares I have, I can get a better idea of how many squares I can use overall in my project and how big I can make this project, because the number of granny squares is going to impact the size or the length of that. All right, more fun granny square nonsense coming up. All right, let's make square number 2. Square 2. And that's number 3 done. 1, 2, and 3. If I'm lucky, I'll get at least another 2 out of this, but hopefully I can at least get 3. 3 squares down, it is time for number 4, and I think I said the other day I was hoping to get at least another 2, possibly 3 squares from the remainder of this skein. But I'm not sure I can push it to 3, so we'll go for 2. I am 4 squares down and I have this much yarn left. I think we're going to be playing a little bit of yarn chicken here today. I honestly don't know if that's going to get me 1 more square. Perhaps if she'd gone with the smart option, she'd already know this. I mean, here I was being optimistic before, hoping I'd get at least 2, but that's definitely not going to happen. But I might just have enough for 1. I'm usually pretty terrible at this, estimating how much yarn I need for a project. It's just not one of those skills that I'm good at. So my plan, rather than just wasting my time guesstimating, is just to crochet and pray to the crochet gods that I have enough yarn for at least 1 more square. If I can get 5 squares out of 1 skein, I'd be happy with that. I'd take that. That will give me, what have I got, 4 skeins? Roughly 20 squares, maybe 1 or 2 less, because when we weighed the skeins, I think one of them was partially used. There was only 35 grams or something left of the skein. So it may end up being less than 20. So that means I won't get the full 5 from that skein at least. But hey, I might not get the full 5 from, oh, that's not a nice noise. I might not get the full 5 from the full skein. There was too many F sounds in that sentence. I might not get the full 5 from these full skeins. I'm just going to start crocheting. I'm going to stop talking now. If you can't hear it in my voice, I've been a bit sick, so I'm going to blame that. I'm going to blame that on my brain no talk good today. I've done one side of the final round and there's no way I'm going to have enough yarn. Shit. That's a bit of a bugger. I was hoping to get the 5 full squares from 1 skein, but unfortunately that's not going to happen. This is it. This is the end. No more yarn left. Ah, that really sucks. I just had 2 sides that I needed to do. Oh well. No good crying over spilt milk or losing at Yarn Chicken. I'll just have to bring in one of my other skeins and use that up. I think this one was the partially used one, so I'll start with that. The one that was 30 something grams. It was either 35 or 37, something like that. But I'll use this one up and we'll finish off this last square. And there we have it, square number 5. I think I both passed and failed this challenge because I did use up the full 50-gram skein that I wanted to, but I didn't achieve the full 5 squares from it that I wanted to. I had to bring in a substitute, call in one of the bench warmers. I'll continue crocheting these squares from my remaining yarn, and I will count how many I have at the end, obviously, but if I'm getting the maybe just under 20 that I'm predicting, that may not be enough to go ahead with my original idea. Fortunately, I had a backup waiting, so we may have to just do that instead, and then I can always redo my original idea in a different yarn, one that I have more of. While that project certainly sounds interesting, we'll have to cover that at a later date because day 5 of the Crochet Games is coming to a close. But before it does entirely, we need to do And today on the hookup, we are featuring the creator Mary Mandrake, and she says, I'm in my 30s and living in Finland. I have loved creating since I could hold pens and scissors and have tried a whole lot of crafts in my lifetime. Yarn stole my heart over 10 years ago, and nowadays, with what little me time I managed to squeeze, I've got 2 small kiddos, I crochet all sorts of things with a witchy, quirky, pagan theme. I recently started an Etsy store so I could share my patterns with others. If you're interested in checking out Mary Mandrake's Etsy store or any of her other links, they will all be down in the description. Also hanging out down there will be a link to a Google form if you're interested in applying for the hookup for yourself. And now, let's get back to the video. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed day 5 of the Crochet Games, and perhaps you may see that interesting project pop up in a month or 2, or possibly more. Thank you again, and we hope you tune in tomorrow for day 6. This is Notley and Roboraptor saying goodbye and see you tomorrow.